So today, the Hobart Chargers are announcing that we're reappointing Anthony Stewart, and it's really a no-brainer as head coach of the men's for the 2019 program. I'm also in discussions with Anthony Stewart to sign on for the 2020 program as well. After 3 years with Dwayne Davey at the helm, the Chargers board has decided that we will throw open to expression of interest the head coach role for the women's program. It goes without saying that the board has been thrilled with the enormous contribution that Dwayne Davey's made to the club over 3 years. He's been an outstanding coach and an outstanding contributor. But we decided after 3 years that, particularly given over the last 2 years the club's evolved and emerged as a leading club but also leading sports organisation in Tasmania, that it was time to open up and see what else was out on the market. I rang Dwayne Davey this morning and encouraged him to throw his hat into the ring. So it's certainly not saying that we won't have Dwayne back. We think he's done a great job, but we think it's also time, just in the evolution of the Hobart Chargers story, to test the market in the women's program.
What was his reaction to that news, and has he already indicated that he will reapply?
I haven't heard an indication for it from him yet. No doubt he'll have a think about that, and he'll let you guys know, no doubt, when he decides that. We're going to hold the expressions of interest, which really is just throw your name and credentials into the ring for about a week, and then the basketball committee and a selection committee will make formal recommendations to the board a couple of weeks after that.
So Anthony Stewart got the direct reappointment, but obviously Dwayne didn't. What was it about Dwayne that didn't earn him the direct the job for next year?
Well, I just want to make sure that Dwayne knows and that the basketball community knows is that the board is absolutely satisfied and thrilled with Dwayne's outstanding contribution to the club, and has been for a number of years. He signed on for a 3-year arrangement. That 3 years is up, and just given the evolution of the club, the evolution of the program, the impending evolution of the league, we thought it was an ideal opportunity just to see who's out there that might put their hand up. You know, these jobs are thankless jobs. Being a coach of a high-profile sports team in Tasmania is hard enough, let alone doing it when you've got a full-time job and you're paid very little by the club to do it. It's a labour of love, and Dwayne has put his all into it, and we're really proud of what he's achieved.
Did Stewie need his go?
You set some lofty goals of championships for both men and women. Did the women's results have any bearing on this, given they've probably fallen short in the last couple of years?
No, I think, short of winning a national championship, which obviously makes the selection of Anthony Stewart as head coach going forward a no-brainer, short of winning a national championship, I can't predict, but I suspect the board would have come to the same conclusion, that it's time to open up and see who else is out there and wants to be part of the Chargers family. Look, Dwayne, in the 2 years that I've been president, has been an outstanding contributor, had great success in the first year, fell short to the Tawns. In the second year, obviously, you know, our season got off to such a slow start with multiple injuries. I think by game 6, there was only about 1/4 of full basketball played with our 3 import players on the floor. So, you know, that was a tough road to hoe for the second half of the season. Dwayne held in there, and I thought he showed great leadership with the women's program in the second half of the season, but it wasn't enough to make the finals. Clearly we want to make the finals, and the board has a view that a coach like Dwayne Davey with the right circumstances can take us there, but we're also interested to see who else is out there.
Did you promise Stewie the head coach role at the Southern Huskies if he hung around for another couple of years?
Well, that's not my job to, I guess it's not within my gift to give to Stewie, but I will say this personally, that I think Anthony Stewart deserves an opportunity to coach an NBL side. Anthony Stewart, let's face it, is the GOAT in Tasmania, the greatest of all time. He also, if you look at all of the statistics throughout NBL history, he ranks amongst the top 15, 20 players in Australian NBL history over the last 40 years. He's won championships as a player, and he's now won a championship as a coach. I think he deserves the opportunity to coach at the very highest level in Australia. And I'm committed to doing everything I can to seeing him get that opportunity.
Did he need any convincing to stay on as the Chargers coach? And did the Huskies even come into those conversations?
The Huskies is a very separate conversation to that. The great thing about what we've done just in recent months is we've established the Chargers Academy. We have 200 of the best young Tasmanian players now in a Chargers Academy for the first time. And I know Anthony Stewart is really excited about building a pipeline of talent that's going to play for the Chargers in the future. And I'm really excited myself that some of these kids we've got in our Chargers Academy in under 16s, in a couple of years' time, seeing them run out into the floor for the Chargers will be an outstanding achievement and have set the club up for another decade of success.
The Huskies eventuate, is there a clause or will there be a clause in Stewart's contract that will release him from, I guess, Chargers duties?
Look, we as a board would never hold Anthony Stewart back from taking, if he got the opportunity to coach at NBL level, we would never hold him back from that opportunity.
What was the take from the meeting with Basketball Australia last week, from your point of view? I understand they came down about the future of the comp. Can you give any update?
So look, the future of the comp discussions are ongoing. I'm feeling really positive about them. No matter where this lands, I'm absolutely confident, and I've had one-on-ones with the chair of Basketball Australia, guaranteeing that the Chargers will play in the Premier Winter Basketball League in Australia, which is what Siebel was, and whatever the Siebel's called going forward, that's where we will be playing. There'll be no doubt some ins and outs from that league, and no doubt some administrative changes and those sorts of things. But what I'm absolutely certain of, and the message to our sponsors and supporters, is the Chargers 2019 program is alive and kicking. The President is hungry for a women's championship and for another men's championship, and we're now putting in the building blocks to achieve that.
Next year?
Sorry?
Is it likely to still be the Siebel next year?
I'd rate that at 50-50 at the moment, to be honest. But what I am certain of is that the Chargers will be playing in Australia's Premier Winter Basketball League, and it will be the second tier league in Australia, only to the NBL.
Does it affect your plans at all when you're looking at putting teams together, or even administratively, not knowing quite where you're going to be playing next year?
Because I'm so confident about what the future holds, and the board is very confident. Yep, there's some decisions at the edges, and whether Diamond Valley will be playing down here or whether Mount Gambier will be playing down here, we don't know yet. But what we're confident about is that the league's got a bright future. In fact, I think, and I know my head coach Anthony Stewart agrees with me, that it could be a really exciting future. It could be, if we get the settings right, something even better than Siebel, where we would see a champion Chargers team, for example, playing in a national club championship at the end of the season. And how good would that be for a Tasmanian team to participate in?